maybe
60 days or how many days now?
Again, you cannot, you see, when you have
6 months.
When you begin to put time frame, it might be a hindrance because the essence of the rot in the industry is extremely massive. It has started since the day all was one availability date. So,
but then at the same time, there's got to be a timeline.
Yes, there must be a time frame within which they must work, but they shouldn't be constrained. Again, if they are given 6 months, if at the end of the 6 months they think, or maybe at the 5th month, that they should ask for extension instead of packaging trash and then bringing that thing before the world. It's annoying. Like I said to you, some of the things they said here, they appear very fantastic. But at the end of the day, when you now said, your figures are not verified, where do we go from there?
Okay, it's mind-boggling, and I wish we've got someone like Nuhu Ribadu or maybe Oronsaye to give us the insight of being a member of that committee. To discuss it with us. But in view of the fact that even the NNPC executive director that we're waiting for is still yet to arrive, let's move away from this report. Now let's look at the rest of the oil industry. We have a situation on our hands today where we still don't have enough petroleum all around the place. The PMS is not in abundance in Nigeria. There are queues everywhere. So, Chief, let me ask you, what do you think could be the cause of this? And why would government, you being in government over the years, why would government not give us an explanation that is valid, that is sensible, that is logical? Why we don't have enough petroleum at the gas station?
Thank you very much. I think Are mentioned something that is germane to this question. Then the issue, there's no way we can divorce ourselves from the objectives of this report, because if you have gone through the report, you will see that some of these issues were highlighted, and it is very evident that problems within that critical segment also persist. And if you do not identify them, there is no way, I told you earlier, that we will not have this shortage. Number one, the extent of damage that is going on in that segment, in that sector, is alarming. I think I was reading it in one of these news of recent, that where PPMC claimed in 2011 alone, they had 4,400 and something pipeline breakage, owing to sabotage, owing to various mischievous devices of people around there. That's number one. Number two, you also see that even the management of for instance, even the Ribadu report was talking of there is no central point accountability center. And I think Steve Oronsaye was saying that people are pretending about the problem of that sector. I'm not talking for him, but to me, he is a very critical voice in this issue of trying to reposition that the oil sector. And there is no way you look at some of the issues that are raised. One, the issue of personnel. The personnel must be looked into. Total overhauling of the personnel. Then even the fiscal scheme of that area. How much do we make from this one? Arising from accountability of even barrels per day. We have not been able to have even a reliable data since 2002 up to 2011, which is the framework within which Ribadu was asked to put the observations and views on the oil sector. There is no consistent production line. Either 445,000 barrels per day today, go back to 300 and so. So all this, if they are inconsistent, there is no way production can be regular. Then, in addition to this, you will see that Chevron, Shell and other these oil industries have all come up with various lamentations owing to sabotage. For instance,
yep. But if you look at it, that has nothing to do with the supply of petrol. What Shell and the rest of them are moving out is the crude. But once it's refined in terms of, and sorry, let me quickly ask Mr. Aria, because we have to wrap up very quickly now. The point I would like to get emphasized is, What could be the reason why we're not bringing in enough petroleum? Because then no matter what the government say, there is not enough in circulation.
You know, that the question is annoying. We shouldn't be importing in the first place. There are modular refineries that can be brought into Nigeria, and I'm saying it, in 90 days, they are set up, ready to go. Okay? What we have today are old and outdated. The earlier we come to that reality, scrap them, start on a new page, the better for all of us. I was in Mexico and I saw a policeman fighting on the street, and I was like, hey, is it possible? What did they do later? They scrapped the entire police force and began again. Okay? The same thing has to happen to our oil industry. Thank God the Ribadu committee also said it, that to scrap NNPC. DPR as it is today has no capacity to measure or determine anything, either technical capacity or human capacity. The same thing goes. So until we are ready to refine our petroleum locally.
Okay, but pending when we do that, the solution as of today, that's not going to happen within the next 4 weeks. You were here in January
when the crisis erupted over subsidy or no subsidy. The creation of that the same mentality is this subsidy thing, which now brought in a lot of corruption and inconsistencies. So we still have to go back, because if you say they should go and begin to import now, particularly all the importers have backed down. Capital Oil, that was a front runner in the game, the MD is in detention. He's been there now for so long. So to that extent, they have stopped importing. When all of them were importing, the supply was steady, but they have backed out. The banks also are no longer funding them. A lot of them are owing. The state government is owing them reimbursement, and then they are owing the bank.
According to the CMA, the coordinating minister for the economy and minister of finance, she said they're being paid, and they're trying to make sure that nobody is paid that does not deserve to be paid.
Yeah. There have been so many reports and the declarations. At the end of the day, what the government want to ask yourself is, how come things are still the way they are?
Could there be saboteurs in our midst?
It's embarrassing.
The oil industry is a very technical industry.
It is embarrassing that we were hearing some companies were paid who didn't import any fuel at all, and they were paid wrong figures to monies that ran into billions of dollars for work not done. You didn't import 1 liter of petrol, and you are paid billions. I mean, it's scandalous.
I call it collaborative corruption. Somebody was in charge of verifying on the high seas what comes in. They said that ports are not good enough. They're not discharging from Cotonou and from wherever. And then, without anybody seeing anything, they just bring papers, they will sign and get paid.
And pay.
The one that paid me most, I did my youth service in 1984-85. Somebody who did youth service 2 years ago was when a company that got paid over 20 billion naira. You ask yourself, what have you been doing since all these times? Yeah, man. God, they are going to school together. So, what have you been doing? I mean, so these things still border on corruption, and it's out of greed now.
Your uncle, Mr. Corruption.
So we really need to go through the rebirth. Maybe I don't want to use the word spiritual rebirth now. A moral rebirth. And it should be at all levels, whereby we begin to do a rethinking on how to bring Nigeria to where it should be. If we continue this way in 24 months, I'm not a prophet of doom, but if you call me that, no wahala, I can tell you there may not be Nigeria. Because everywhere what you are seeing is not encouraging.
Okay, your final word, Chief, because we need to.
Thank you very much. I just need to correct one other thing. Institutional overhaul does not include complete cancellation of such. NNPC is an institution. You can't recommend this. You cancel it outrightly. Like in my local area, they say head cutting is no solution to headache. That you cut off head. So we should look into some of these elements that are recurring as problems in those segments and address them briefly. And that's number one. Then number two, I will suggest that this committee must come to the public domain to explain what actually happened like Are said. They must explain to Nigerians why they bungled this golden opportunity.
Okay.
So,
on that note,
yes.
we will say we will hope that Nuhu Ribadu and co will
They must
come.
come out.
Your final
Yes,
word.
yes. My final word basically is this: I want to believe the president meant well in the first place.
You want to believe.
I want to believe, yes, because I mean he's not my person. I've not met him one on one, so I cannot. I mean, I cannot feel his.
He's not your person.
He's not my person. I don't know him. He doesn't know me.
Okay.
Now I want to believe he meant well with that committee. To that extent, let another committee be formed now that will start off from where the committee ended. They made some contributions, no doubt, but at the end of the day, they stabbed the baby by themselves. So we must start from there and seriously begin to address the issues. And like you said, which I said earlier on, everyone on that committee should be brought to public domain to tell us what transpired behind the closed doors. I wasn't there, you were not there, Nigerians were not there, and it's all about Nigerians. All of these things about us. It's our resources.
Thank you very much. We have had our eyes on the oil industry, and it's a pity that we did not have the honor of the insights of Engineer Abiye Membere, who's Group Executive Director over at NMPC. We just had to make do with the insights of Chief Sanya Adesua, who's a former commissioner in the
Ekiti State Civil Service Commission.
Ekiti State Civil Service Commission,
Yes.
and Are Oladende Ario, who's a security expert. Thank you very much for coming to share this time out with us this morning.
Thank you.
Sunrise will return with yet another interesting topic in just a moment. Please stay with us.